Hi, my name's Kim. I've spent the last week or so being out of centre, out of the core. It's felt very uncomfortable, very empty. I'd instinctively been trying to fill the emptiness with work, food, distraction, busyness, but nothing helped. The mind had been telling me that all was fine, all was still on track, in inverted commas. But my heart and soul knew better and were pulling at my attention, which I was ignoring. My teacher Aratima had a conversation with me earlier in the year when she asked me to pay attention to who I was serving in every moment. In that situation, I'd been pulled up on something, very rightly called out, and my reaction had been to try to justify my actions, to have them still fit into the image I had created of the situation and of myself. I'd gone through a sequence of making excuses for myself, then seeking validation and forgiveness before accepting. I had not been serving truth. Similarly, in the past week or so, I had not been serving truth either. I'd been serving ego, serving untruth, while telling myself I was still serving truth. I was in the mind with closed heart, an automatic pilot, following the concepts and the labels my mind had created about who I am. This can happen so easily at times. You see it sometimes. I had a recent example of this in a Facebook group I'm in. I posted something and a person responded aggressively, throwing judgment and stories about how they're here to bring light to the darkness, even ending their message with the words love and light and lots of hearts. But the message wasn't filled with light or with love, though their idea and concept of themselves was that of being a very loving person. We all are so filled up at times with ideas of who we are, who we want to present ourselves to the world as, loving, kind, spiritual, or successful, together, open, or whatever it might be. But when the mind seizes on these concepts and stamps them onto your image of who you want to be, they become static, constrictive, rules to live by that everything that happens has to be squeezed into. I know this. I've experienced it for years without realizing it at the time. We can sometimes separate ourselves, divide ourselves up, tell ourselves that the parts of ourselves we don't like or don't want to own don't in fact exist, and push them deep into the subconscious. But they're still there, still bleeding through, and on some level we know it. We may say or acknowledge we are something, or do something. For example, that we like to be in control, or feel that we do things or know things better than others. But then we refuse to see or acknowledge how this percolates through our every experience, our every interaction with others. How we may throw this like an arrow when speaking to others, then fall into victim mode when others react. But when sitting in honesty, in the core, in truth, you can sometimes see these patterns unfold before you. The overlay of ideology and fragmented pieces you stick together into an image of yourself. You can see where you are hiding, where you are distorting, where you are lying. And when you bring them all together, gather all these pieces up and hold them in love, you see they aren't the rocks and boulders and monsters you've made them out to be, but are just jigsaw pieces of yourself that make up the whole. The shadowy monsters disappear, and instead of the huge beast, you see the lovable kitten just waiting to be loved. Yesterday, as I fell back into remembrance of self, back into the core, it was a coming home, a remembering and a reminder to be here now, always. Being in the past or in some fantasy future and not being present. They're not being here, they're not being in the heart. As Jason said in one of his videos, I'll post the link below, the ego is always trying to imprint the past upon the present, whereas the heart knows the present is the absolute. The past is just a hall of mirrors. Let go of your ideas of what you should be and surrender to what you are. The doorway to freedom is here. As I sit here now, in the core, in the here, in the now, serving truth, there is a heart opening, an honesty. Fully being with everything that is happening, everything I am, everything I'm feeling as it moves through. At being able to feel it, acknowledge it, embrace it as part of me. And I feel joy as I see it doesn't matter. Watch as it all comes home. There's no shying away or pushing back against things that may have been labelled as bad or wrong. Things that you don't want to be or feel. There is no good or bad, there just is. There are no stories or segregation or indexing. There is an owning of everything I am, the conscious and the unconscious. A disintegration of labels, of chapter headings, of boxes. Being here now, being in the core, there is no seeking, no striving to be anything or go anywhere. There's a knowing that the unconscious is all conscious, a seeing the pattern of the unconscious as it opens up to view. And it doesn't matter. It's just this present moment, this crystal clear awareness and expansive beingness, when nothing matters, nothing exists, all is love, all is silence, all is stillness. The mind is quiet, its thoughts are irrelevant, wisps of clouds across the sky. Concepts and ideals fall away. There are no ideas or views of who I am, I just am. One with everything that is, feeling everything deeply. Words are inadequate, unimportant. I'm not here always. Sometimes I'm pulled out, follow the path of ego, fall into forgetting. But I know that this place is home and I return. Thank you for listening.